Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well and having a great Saturday night. And tonight's forecast update, we're going to be talking about the major weather system that will start to move in towards the middle of next week, right around the 12th and 13th of March. But we will not see the system really start to get going until later next week and into next weekend. And then for a smaller portion of the video, we'll be talking about the severe weather threat for today and tomorrow, but the main topic for tonight's video will be the major system that could potentially move in towards the middle of next week. So as y'all can probably see, I have gotten a webcam now, so I can use it, and it'll be in the bottom right hand corner. So I'll kind of experiment with it a little bit and see how it looks in the videos. So I may change it around a little bit, but let's go ahead and get started with the update for tonight. So first, starting out with the European weather model here. And so again, for the severe weather threat for tonight and into tomorrow, we're going to have this system. Let me get the draw tool out. We'll have the system down here into the southern US, and I'll make that a little bit bigger so y'all can see. But that'll be right there, and that'll be responsible for our severe weather threat again for today and into tomorrow. And so if we continue this on, that system starts to head to the east, and that'll bring rain to the southeastern US as we get into tomorrow on Sunday and then into Monday as well. But that system will strengthen just a little bit, and really by about late, I would say kind of late into Monday night, and finally by Tuesday morning, that'll be out into the Atlantic, and most of that rain will be finally moved out by then. And so from that period on, we go into Tuesday, and it's a little quiet. Then if we look into the northwestern US by early Wednesday, you already have our major system starting to move in, and snow is already showing up into the northwestern US there. And then as that system continues to go east, you don't really see the low pressure, but you can tell all the energy associated with that is moving in, and you just have this kind of large area of moisture, which includes snow and rain, especially for the higher elevations where those areas could see the most snow from the system. So if we continue this on the European weather model, it shows this system being quite strong, and as you can see there, we have quite a bit of cold air funneling in into the really northwestern and especially western US as a whole. If we continue that forward there, we go to, let me go back a little bit, we go to early Friday on the 14th, next Friday. You already have a 982 millibar low pressure here into the central US, situated over Colorado, and you would continue that on, and it finally starts to somewhat eject over the central US, and you could definitely see a severe weather threat with this system for sure, because you're going to have moisture being pumped up from the Gulf into these areas, and you'll have a pretty decent moisture supply. But again, it won't be as robust as if this were to kind of happen maybe, let's say, into April or May, but you're still going to have moisture with this system and severe weather for sure, along with a winter weather side, especially quite a bit further north to that low pressure. And we continue this on the European weather model here, and it gets that. Let me go back a little bit, but we go into Friday night into Saturday. That gets that up into the upper Midwest, and finally gets that moved on up into Canada, really by late Sunday night into Monday. But if we go back here and look at this a little more, you're going to have a flooding risk, especially across the kind of upper and deep south into portions of the southeast, because you're going to have moisture just hanging around these areas here, because you're going to have your main piece of energy right here moving on out, but you're also going to have more pieces of energy kind of moving up like so in these areas where you'll have, again, moisture from the Gulf just hanging there and being pushed up into those areas. And essentially that'll grapple onto that and move that up, but it'll mainly keep those areas wet for at least a couple of days. really about a 24 to 48 hour period, and that will lead to flooding for sure. So that'll be something we'll have to watch as well. But it looks like the European has that moved out by about late Monday into Tuesday of not next week, but the week after next on the 17th and 18th of March. So if we go back here to the GFS and see what it shows. So again, same thing with our system down here into the southeastern US. You go into Monday, midday, into early on Tuesday. It has that moved out again, same time frame, early Tuesday morning. Somewhat of a quiet period here just for about a day or two. Then it starts to ramp up again into the northwestern US with this other system starting to move in. And the agreement is there with the system moving in, kind of in the same sort of time frame as the European weather model, and it looks quite similar there as you get into early on Friday next week. But the GFS has this as a 968 millibar low pressure from the latest 18Z run. I did forget to mention the latest, or not, excuse me, the run I just looked at a second ago on the European was the morning run, the 12Z run. And so this is the latest 18Z GFS. But it does have that as a 968 millibar low pressure there, quite a strong low pressure. And again, that'll just grapple that moisture into the Gulf and push that well up there into the central and southeastern US. One thing to note is that the GFS does not show that energy into the kind of southeastern US and really deep south as much as the European weather model does, so that's just something to consider there. So the flooding threat would just be a little lesser with the GFS solution, but still we'll have to continue to watch that as we get closer to this time frame. And it really has this system pretty much moved out by the 17th on Monday. So now just quickly looking at the EPS ensembles where we can see our system. And so again, as we go into Thursday morning next week, you can see that system right there with the trough moving into the northwestern US right there. And if you continue that on, again, this is just the EPS ensembles, the 12Z run, and even by Friday night, next Friday night into next Saturday, the 14th and 15th, this has a 984 millibar pressure shown up just on the EPS ensembles, and that is quite strong for just the ensembles. And so if you don't know what the ensembles basically are, it's essentially an average of different members put together, so we can basically see and the average of maybe the medium to long range of what something would show. So that just allows us to see kind of a general overview of this. And really with the ensembles, it's going to be usually pretty conservative. And when you have, again, many members having strong low pressures, that's obviously going to make that average stronger, where we're going to have stronger low pressures show up here in these areas. So there's definitely an agreement here that we'll see. I'm pretty confident we'll see a sub 990 millibar low pressure next week, just considering the ensembles right now. But the EPS ensembles again shows a 984 millibar low pressure next week. Again, that is quite strong for sure across those areas. So this could again get even a little stronger, or it could hold back a little bit and go to more of a weaker solution. But again, that is just what the latest EPS ensemble show. And as you can see, there's our well-defined trough there. Let me get my draw tool back out, but here's our trough, and it is pretty defined right there with a negative tilt to that trough next Friday into Saturday. And lastly, just looking here for next week's system, as you can see, if we go into, we'll go to Friday night, next Friday night that is. And so as you can see, we have this plume of moisture here, dew points well into the 60s and even into the low 70s in some of these areas into Louisiana, and that is plenty moist enough for severe weather. And even as we look closer towards that low pressure, you're going to have moisture reach a little bit further up to the north, especially again to the east of that low pressure. And so you'll have even dew points into the 50s here. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Dew points into the 50s here, where you'll probably have a little bit of a different storm mode, especially maybe even up into here as well. And you'll have a different storm mode compared to here than down here way into the deep south, even into Louisiana and Texas, most likely. And then as you continue that forward, that moisture would hang around and basically cling on to that low pressure. But I think again we'll have maybe another surge of moisture probably on Saturday, I would say, into portions again of the deep south and southeast, and finally that would move out again by around the 17th or 18th of March. And now finally looking at tonight's severe weather setup, which is mostly done for the night for the most part, but there still is a little bit of a severe weather threat for the next couple of hours. And the latest update is about 4 hours old, so the next one should be in around 2 hours from when I'm making this video. But as you can see here, into eastern Texas, Louisiana, southern Arkansas, the southern half of Mississippi, into Alabama, the Panhandle of Florida, and the northern Florida Peninsula, into Georgia as well. We have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe weather, again for tonight on Saturday the 8th. And so if we look at our tornado risk here, we just have a 2% tornado risk for the night. And again, this risk is going to continue to lessen over the next couple of hours. And we also have a 5% wind risk into these areas here, into that brown color. And we also have a 5% hail risk into these areas here. And again, that brown color as well. Then for our day 2 severe weather risk, we have a marginal risk into portions of the Florida Panhandle, southeastern Alabama, and southern Georgia. And so looking at our risk here, we do have a 2% tornado risk there for tomorrow on Sunday. And then we also have a 5% wind risk for tomorrow. And we also have a 5% hail risk, again in that brown color, for tomorrow on Sunday. And so now looking at the 0ZHRRR weather model for the south central US. And so as you can see here into Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, eastern Texas, Louisiana as well, you have this rain band, and mostly the heavier rain further to the south with those storms. And so over the next couple of hours, you're going to have those storms linger, especially into Louisiana, Mississippi, and extreme southern Alabama, as well as the Panhandle of Florida. And then those storms again will get going tomorrow on Sunday, especially into tomorrow morning. But if we go back here, most of these storms will have a little bit of instability for the next couple of hours, but not much. And if we look at our surface-based cape here, as you can see in those kind of yellow to orange colors, we don't have a lot of instability to deal with because of just really daytime heating is the main factor towards that surface-based cape today. So you don't have any you don't have any daytime heating obviously as you go further into the night, but then as you get into tomorrow, you're going to have daytime heating, which allows for that instability to build back again. But really those storms will continue over the next couple of hours, but they will lessen with severity as you go further into the night and finally into very early tomorrow morning. Now looking at tomorrow's severe weather threat on Sunday, you're going to have most of the instability confined to the Gulf, but you're going to have somewhat stronger instability into some of the areas into the Panhandle of Florida, as well as the Florida Peninsula will have ample instability for those severe storms for tomorrow. And so if we look at our reflectivity here for tomorrow, again, you're going to have this large cluster of storms over Georgia into the Panhandle of Florida as well, and those will be the ones we'll have to watch. But as we get into midday tomorrow and then finally into tomorrow evening, it looks like those clusters try to intensify just a little bit, and you'll have to watch out for that period, especially into tomorrow evening. And that would continue on, and you'll have quite a bit of rain, especially into the Big Bend of Florida for quite some time into those areas, and that rain will continue for much of those areas into even early Monday morning. But these severe weather threats should be well gone by then, and that should just be a kind of light to moderate rain, especially along the coast for Monday morning, throughout the day, and then finally into Tuesday morning. So that'll be it for tonight's update. I appreciate all of y'all watching, and I'm going to try to have another video out in the next couple of days. But again, I appreciate all of y'all continuing to watch my forecast updates, excuse me, and I'm gonna try to adjust my my camera as needed. I'm gonna see how it looks in the videos and see if I need to fix anything, but I think right now it should be okay, and hopefully it doesn't block anything in the updates. But I'll continue to look over that and improve where I need to. But I appreciate all of y'all watching again, and I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's Saturday night and a great Sunday.